All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here today for this information session with Aramark. Today, I just want to let you know, first of all, my name is Werner Petzold. I'm an employer outreach specialist for the University of Arizona Global Campus, and I'm a 10-year Air Force veteran. We are excited that you could join us today to learn more about the exciting career opportunities with Aramark. Before I turn the floor over to Aramark, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items with you. The webinar is being recorded. So for all of those who registered for today's information session, the recording will be emailed to you in a few days. We will take time to answer as many questions as possible during and at the end of the presentation. At the bottom of the screen is a Q&A button. You can submit questions with your name or anonymously or to be answered live. We will do our best to get to as many questions as we can. However, if your question is not answered by the end of the presentation, you can email it to careerservices@uagc.edu, and we will follow up with Aramark to get any remaining questions answered. Also, feel free to engage in the chat. You can pose questions in the chat, and Aramark and members of the Career Services team will be available to help answer questions throughout the presentation. If you have any technical difficulties, we recommend logging out of Zoom and logging back in. Now, I would like to introduce our guest speaker. Joining us today is Chaka Dakers. She's Safety and Risk Solutions Director, Correctional Service, and Salute ERG Co-Chair at Aramark. Chaka also attended Ashford University, and as many of you know, UAGC was formerly Ashford University. So I'm proud to say that Chaka is a successful former student. Chaka, we are so excited to hear your presentation today, and thank you for joining us today. I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm so happy to participate in this. Because my world is safety and risk solutions, I just want to share about just what's going on in Florida. And if you're in that Florida area, or if you have friends or family, please continue to stay in touch with them and make sure that they remain safe and remain indoors and follow all directions if it's calling for evacuations. And so really just make sure that you keep them in your heart and thoughts as we continue the rest of this day and on to tomorrow. So again, thank you everyone for your time. I know time is very valuable, and I'm super excited to be a part of this. As it was mentioned, I am a 10-year Army veteran. I was a student at Ashford University, so this is very near and dear to me. I know there are a lot of military veterans and active duty members and spouses that participate in this higher education. And again, I'm just proud to be one of the students and proud to be here to talk about this company I've been a part of now for the past 17 years. And so this was my first job outside of the military. I was ACAPing and didn't know what I wanted to do with my career and where I wanted to go. I started in food service. And most of the time when you hear food service, you think of fast food, right? And you feel like your options are limited. I did my culinary training in the military, so I was not like a certified chef that went to a culinary art institute or anything like that. But again, spent 10 years in the Army, and so I felt I could cook pretty well, but I didn't know where I wanted my career to go. And I saw a sign for Aramark, didn't know anything about it, and fast forward 17 years later, I am still with the company. As you can see from my title, I am not in food service any longer. I started in operations with Aramark in food service, actually, believe it or not, in county jails and state prisons. And every day I walked in my office was a prison kitchen, and I walked into a jail each and every day. Sounds crazy, makes you wonder why anyone would want to do that, but that was the career path I chose. I felt it matched what I learned in the military and what I was learning educationally through my continued education as far as leadership and management. And it just aligned, and again, here I am. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. We can go to the next slide. So I can't see anyone, and I know we're not asking anyone to jump in right now, but just think to yourself, have you ever heard of Aramark? And if you haven't, you probably see it almost every day and don't even realize it. So if you go to the grocery store and look down, probably at most of the floor mats in large grocery store chains, at the corner, very corner of one of those mats, it's probably going to say Aramark, right? If you've attended a university in the past and went to their stadiums, if you went to a ball game, if you went to a basketball game, if you've attended a concert, if there's any Taylor Swift fans out there, we just had a concert in Philadelphia. Aramark are the individuals that are serving that food. And so we are in all facets throughout the country and the globe. You can turn to the next slide, please. So before I actually read anything on this slide, I just ask that you draw your attention to the different icons on this picture and see what resonates for you. We'll just spend 5 seconds just looking at all of the icons. That's all I want you to do. And for me, before we read anything on here, what's impactful the most for me is this is just about everything that we do in our life, right? We spend time with our family, we go outdoors, we go to sporting events, we travel, you see uniforms there, and you see a plates and fork and knife and spoon, which is near and dear to my heart, food service. So all of these icons really, for me, just depict the diverse organization we have. And it's because of that size and diversity with all of the different departments, you really have the ability to navigate a career through multiple lines of business. We operate in 19 countries. We manage 1 billion gross square feet of client facilities. We provide uniforms and workplace supplies to 400,000 people. We serve 2 billion meals each year. And we participate in 27 lodging, day parks, and cultural attractions, just to name a few. We also serve 29 sports teams. We participated in a Super Bowl, and the NFL draft, as well as the MLB World Series and All-Star Game. And what's most important is something that I'm proud of is we have over 274,000 employees. We can go to the next. So when I talked about the different lines of business that we serve, this is what we do. So anywhere from where you work, learn, recover, and play, Aramark is there. We're in collegiate hospitality, facilities management, sports and entertainment, uniform services, workplace hospitality, refreshments, corrections, student nutrition, destinations, healthcare plus, as well as next level hospitality services. I see the chats are blowing up. I appreciate that someone is already acknowledging that they did some work with Aramark before. So thank you very much. I hope after this session, you'll continue and find a home and a happy home with Aramark. We can go to the next slide. Here are some of our key clients. And we'll spend a couple minutes here and look, and I'm sure there are probably at least 3 that you recognize. And we can go ahead to the next slide. And so here, taking a closer look, I'll just spend a couple minutes just really getting into how we are invested in the communities where we live and work. We can go to the next slide. So we have a mantra, and that's be well, do well. We engage our employees. 60% of our workforce is female, and 54% are racially and ethnically diverse. We build local communities. Since 2008, we've impacted over 250,000 individuals globally. Empower healthy communities. 32% of our menus are vegan or vegetarian. We source ethically and inclusivity, sourced from 470 local farms in the United States. And we also have initiative to minimize food waste. So 452 locations with waste tracking technology that help meet our operational goal, which is to reduce food waste by 50% in the year 2030. We also source responsibly. In 2016, we completed our transition to sustainability source canned ski pack and albacore tuna across the United States. Skipjack, I'm sorry. We operate efficiently with 5% reduction in fuel consumption year over year to conserve water, energy, and fuel. And we continue to reduce packaging. Our goal is to reduce plastic straws and stirrers by 59%, and we've been doing that since 2018, reducing single-use plastics globally by the end of 2022. So again, we're not just focused on serving clients, we're also invested and interested in the communities that we partner with also. That moves us to the next slide. This is our community impact here. So as you can see, really we have a lot of sustainability. We have 411 Aramark building communities, grants distributed. We have 928 nonprofits that we've supported, 65 community spaces and gardens transformed, $11.5 million in direct kind and matching contribution donations. And our volunteer engagement is 8,200. We also have snack meals and hygiene kits assembled, over 70,000 of them, and we support 320,000 students. And then also people we support, including the communities, students, and more, are 1,079,500 people. And our volunteer events total 340. We can go to the next slide. So how do we do that? I'm really happy to work for an organization that really focuses and has a department on diversity, inclusion, and equality. We have 11 employee resource groups, we call them ERGs, and we have 32 hubs across the US. We have 10,000 members, and year over year, we consistently average about 100 events a year. And so these groups are really near and dear to me, which is how I am invested in this program and working with this university. I'm a part of the Salute program. So what we like to do is partner up with communities and universities and really look for veterans and active duty and spouses. And we really want to retain, attract, and empower them. And that also extends out not just to veterans and military personnel, it's all inclusive. And we have different groups. I'm also a part of the LEAD, and that's the African-American group. I'm here stationed in Atlanta. We have hubs and get together. We help with community-based events. Our programs also help homeless shelters, and we help build, picnic tables, and we garden, and we paint rooms, and we separate clothes, and we sit with local communities and help with their resumes. And we try to assist with how to respond to questions when they have interviews, and we're really connected into the community. So really what I would say is working for Aramark really provides the experience and the exposure, staying under one umbrella. As I mentioned before, I started my career in food service, and now I'm into safety. I've also cross-trained and did some work with sales and growth and development, and it really makes you feel like you are working in different departments and learning different things, both technical and personal development, and you're still under that Aramark umbrella. So it can be two totally different aspects. I've, again, walked into prisons and jails, and then 2 weeks, I can walk into hospitals and meet with clients there and talk to patients and talk to the associates that we employ down in the kitchen and listen to their stories. I can then go to a sports and entertainment stadium and, you know, get to peek out at Taylor Swift while she's performing and watch our associates prepare all of that food for everybody that comes through and then clean up afterwards, right? So again, all different aspects of what we do each and every day in our lives, and it's still working for Aramark. We can go to the next. So career tracks. So what type of careers do you believe we have? We can move to the next. Here are the tracks. So we always mention we're in the hospitality business. That includes culinary and food service, as well as custodial and facility services. And then below list all of the different functional areas. Anything from information technology, human resources, supply chain and logistics, legal and safety, sales and growth, finance and accounting, communications and marketing, as well as field support. So we'll just stay here for a second and you can see from beginning to end within those two divisions, whether it's culinary and food service or custodial and facility services, we need all of these functional areas filled. So whether you're in school for IT, we have functional groups for that. We need those services, whether it's for setting up firewalls and optics and new technology inside of a prison staff dining, because now they have a go-kart system, and it's set up almost like a mini market for officers. So when they get off their 12-hour shift, they don't have to go to Walmart or a grocery store. We have those inside of the facilities for them. Well, we need that technology and someone to oversee that in there. Same thing in healthcare, same thing in sports and entertainment and some of our parks and destinations. Also human resources. And it goes all the way down the line. For every aspect, we need each of these functions, which means we need high caliber professional people to fill them. Next slide just really goes to show where we are globally. So of course, we're everywhere across the United States. We're in Canada, we're in Chile and Argentina, in UK, in Spain, Ireland, Belgium, Denmark, Germany, Luxembourg, Czech Republic. We're in Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, China, South Korea, and Japan. I'll just share another personal experience with you here. This year and every year, our organization recognizes World Safety and Health Day. This past April, I was approached and asked to be a part of that committee, and I was able to shoot a little video. We shared it across the globe, and I had the opportunity to reach out to our international partners, and we had them invested in the program as well, and really identifying what does a safe workplace look like. We had a drawing contest for the international and US folks, and we had everyone kind of submit drawings, whether it was digital or handwriting. We went through them. We asked that each country give a little video presentation, and it was really awesome to see and experience a day in the life of someone that works in Chile in a mine, and to see that they are doing the same exact processes and procedures that we are. They also still need IT, and they need legal, and they need marketing, and they need food service. And to see how they do it is really a phenomenal feat. What they do in the UK, when they had the changeover for King Charles, they were a part of that. And we got to see the changing of the guards and the soldiers, and that Aramark was a part of providing uniforms for them. And they were in the background feeding all of the reporters and everyone that participated in that. And so we are always in the background, and we are very good at what we do, which keeps us back there to keep everything flowing for customers and clients around the world. Going to benefits. So think about, when we go to the next slide, think about what benefits are important to you. Benefits can be worth a lot, and they're more than just health insurance. So we can go into the next slide. So just spend a couple minutes here looking at the different company benefits. So as you listen to this presentation and you begin to think about where you want to work, who is deserving of your time, effort, and energy, I hope that you also think about the benefits that a company should offer you. And we like to think, or I definitely like to think, that we offer everything for not just yourself, but for your family: financial planning, education, health benefits, mental health wellness programs. Also family planning, adoption assistance, parental leave, elderly care, and our domestic partners and benefits and gender affirming care. Thank you, Rebecca. That is a great plan. I totally agree. And we promote it, right? So it's just not stuck on our website somewhere and no one knows where it is. Our company really does a good job of making sure that not only are people aware of the programs that we have, that they are engaged in it, and we talk about them, and they're part of our annual reviews. And when you sit down with someone and you talk about your career goals and your performance, these are some of the questions that are asked of you, so it always stays top of mind. So you'll hear, are you taking advantage of the benefits? Do you know what they are? Has your family taken advantage of the benefits? So it stays top of mind, and it really is a holistic approach to our organization. So again, it's not just something buried in the website somewhere and no one knows that they exist. We really do a good job sharing this information and make sure that they get utilized. We can go to the next slide. So connecting with us, how do we do that? We'll go to the next slide. And before we wrap this up, I really want to just say that I'm very honored for your time. I did see some people chiming in and checking in from parts of Florida. Again, we wish you safety. And thank you for listening. I really feel that Aramark is a company that values its employees. It's really opportunities to grow and learn as you continue with your education, and matches with anything that Aramark does that you're interested in. There's something for you. There's the ability to cross-train, to grow. I'd like to think that our tenure in our programs with our my counterparts, I've known someone that has been with Aramark for 45 years and 38 years. So when I say 17 years, people on the call might be listening and say, wow, 17 years, that's a long time. But think about the person 45 straight years and 38 years. And I listen to stories and they say that, you know, their children are in college and they're working part-time with Aramark in the dining hall, or they're at the counseling area, or they're helping with, you know, some of the go-karts and some of the opportunities. And that's just a story. That's just one of many that we hear all of the time. And I think it just goes to show you stay with the people that take care of you. And 45 years is a lifetime. There are probably listeners on the call that aren't 45. And just to think that someone has spent their entire career in one organization, I really think that speaks volumes for what we do. We continue to stay up to date with different things. DE&I really does a good job engaging us and making sure that we are diverse in our programs and how we work with our communities and who we hire. And we make sure that it is inclusive. We do have seats at the table from hourly associates all the way to executive leadership. We do like to listen. If plans work, we try them out. I participate in different engagement activities where we instructed to find innovative ways and opportunities to continue to be one of the front runners in your employer of choice. And so we're always listening and thinking about how we grow, how we get better. And this is just one of them, a way to share what we do, to be excited about what we do. I can personally say, and I'm happy to say, and look you in a digital eye and say, I'm a proud employee of Aramark for 17 years. I will continue to stay with them, and I will continue to promote and highlight all of the good things that are going on with our organization. And I really hope that you take some time and check our website out, go through the careers page, look at our social. And then finally, text apply now to 63000. Thank you for your time. I know there may be some questions. I wasn't able to see all of them that come through, so I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.
Thank you, Chaka. That's just amazing presentation. We appreciate your time today. I also wanted to let everybody know that Chaka's actually filling in because we did have Poland that was scheduled to be here. And unfortunately, as Chaka had mentioned earlier, Chuck is in the area where the hurricane hit. So down there in Georgia. So he wasn't able to be there. He's with his family. He is okay, and so is his family. So we're thinking of him. But we absolutely appreciate Chaka filling in last minute. And it's just a wonderful thing that she is one of us when it comes to our university. So that's just a really great thing. So we're so proud to have her here today. But yeah, there's a couple of questions here, Chaka, that I see. One of them is that somebody was asking about human resources. So are there human resources positions opportunities available at Aramark? And I'd like to add to that because our students do apply domestically, but they also apply internationally. So if one were to maybe consider positions over, if I can do a second part to that question, how would they consider jobs maybe overseas and how could they connect with those jobs?
Thank you for that question. Happy to hear that we have some interest for our international teams. I know they're always looking for great candidates. I cannot say for certain you can apply via the .com. There may be a like UK. That is something that I can follow up with and make sure that we get that information to you, because just as the United States, again, internationally, we are always looking for great candidates. So that's a great question, and I'll make sure that I follow up on that. And I'm sorry again, if you could, I want to make sure that I answered the question fully. What was the first part of that question?
HR. They were asking about positions.
Oh, HR. Yes. Yes. So there is always HR. And I'll give you an example because this is a good one. So as you can see from one of the initial slides, we are in so many different lines of business, is what we call them: correctional services, healthcare, plus collegiate hospitality, student nutrition. And within those lines of business, we are versed in the entire United States. And so for that line of business are different regions. And within those regions, we need all of those personnel. We need HR that represents a region. We need IT that represents a region, marketing, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of human resource manager positions, as well as HRD positions, human resources directors, for each of those lines of business and for each of those regions.
That's really great news for the person that was asking a question and all those that are interested in HR. So I have another question here, Chaka, from somebody said, what are some of the qualifications and or skills you look for when you're hiring a potential candidate, and how can a candidate stand out?
Wow, that's a good question. Be honest. If you don't have the skill, be honest and say you don't have the skill. However, inform that person on the steps you're taking to learn that skill. Make a connection and share personal experiences. I can't tell you enough how I'll take, for instance, myself when I was in operations and I did a lot of interviewing and looking for people for different departments. I want to make sure and hear that even their personal experience means something. Life experience is also a great technical skill. We need to hear that you may not have the qualification yet, but the fact is that you're in school, that you're applying, that you've shown up, that you have that resume, and you're able to make the connection and acknowledge while you don't have specific direct experience, your life experience holds some of that weight. And then share a story, because through that story, as we listen, I'm able to at least understand this person is someone that is willing to have investment put into them. This person has experience that I'm looking for, that has the tenacity, that has the character, that has those traits and qualities and attributes where we can develop you. That's the beauty about our organization. We really look at someone holistically. So it's just not the exact degree that you have. And so while sometimes you may have a human resources degree or that's what you're going for, throughout that education, I'm sure you've learned how to multitask and how to develop communication and teamwork, and all of those personal experiences coupled with some of the education behind it makes for a great candidate. So if I can say, continue to build your communication skills and make sure that you're sharing how you were a team player in scenarios, and that you have, and that you're ready with more than just one example. We sometimes want to hear more than one, so that we know that in different circumstances you were able to handle and navigate a situation.
Absolutely agree. That's just great advice. Next question is, do you have administrative remote work available? I know it's a specific question, but of course, a lot of people are going to ask that after COVID and all those things.
Absolutely.
Question,
Absolutely. That's something that we're looking into now, right? As part of the DE&I, we're understanding COVID clarity, and we're understanding how we continue to retain and attract candidates. And we understand that the world that we live in now, we now understand that some of it can become flexible and hybrid, and some can be remote, because our headquarters is in Philadelphia, right? But we have a lot of remote work. We have a lot of hybrid work. Some of those jobs, if you like to travel, opportunity is for that. You want to make sure that it aligns with your family. Me personally, now that my children are of age, I've now taken on a position where I want to travel. So you have the ability to stay in one location or have the opportunity to travel if that's your case. I was just in Seattle 2 weeks ago. The week before that, I was in Indianapolis. Then I was down in California. After this weather, I'll be in Florida. And then following that, I'll be up back into Philadelphia corporate working. And so there are opportunities. You just have to make sure when you're looking for it that it says hybrid or remote.
I have another really good one here when it comes to, they're reflecting back on what you did when you mentioned to me that you worked in Baltimore for the county jail. So this person's asking, how long does it take from the interview to start working in a county jail kitchen?
Okay, say that one more time. How long
does it take from the interview to then start working in a county jail kitchen? I guess they're trying to see, once you interview, and I'm assuming that they get accepted for the job, how long is that process?
Got you. So every facility is a snowflake, right? Especially if the focus is specifically in corrections. Each client has a different policy for security entry. Some require fingerprinting, some all require background. They could take from a day to 2 weeks. It just depends on that department and what their criterias are. For me, it was 17 years ago. It was it may be a week or so. What I can tell you is that corrections has a lot of openings. We are one of the fast growing lines of business in the organization. We've just acquired in the past year the entire Florida DOC. In the past year, we acquired the whole South Dakota DOC. In the last 7 months, we acquired the Missouri DOC. We put in a bid for the Texas DOC. We're ironing out the details of the Arizona DOC. And so all of that means all different locations, which means all managers. And if I could just put a shameless plug in for corrections in that line of business and how we're actively pursuing candidates and high quality candidates, is that being a manager in a food service kitchen may not sound appealing, but what I can tell you is it is all of the demands of as if you are owning your own business, because these are just individual pockets. There is no micromanaging. So you are the full leader of that operation, which means you're leveraging HR skills. So you're hiring and you're coaching and counseling, and sometimes having to do the hard job of terminating employees, but you're training, you're validating and motivating, you're dealing with clients and are in those meetings with those high-powered people. You could be in a meeting with the commissioner and then the next day be in with the assistant commissioner and then have a meeting with the warden. You're kind of the leader and you represent Aramark in that location, and you're partnering with all of the staff, whether it's medical, whether it's security, how you integrate Aramark into that client. And so from beginning to end, all of human resources, all of profit and loss. So if finance is your thing, then this is your thing, right? Because from beginning to end, you talk about revenue, cost of goods, direct expenses, profit and loss at the end of the week, validating those purchases. You're dealing with ARs and APs and inventory and vendor relationships. It is, for me, my experience in operations was really like running my own business, because you learn all of those aspects, you learn all of those interpersonal skills, you learn all of the decision making and decisiveness and that teamwork and managing of supervisors, that critical thinking, that oral communication. And so wherever you choose to take that, working with Aramark in the different divisions that we have, because we are valued contract services, whether it's in a prison or a hospital, you are the face and the leader of that entity, and you own everything from beginning to end with the support of the functional people in corporate or, virtually, I'll say.
Sure, and that makes a lot of sense. It's part of the position for sure. And actually,
Absolutely.
This person is asking a question that is talking about being as a current student, which they're currently a student at UAGC, and they have plenty of experience in their field. They didn't designate what field, but what they did ask is, do I have to be a graduate to apply?
You do not. You do not. If you're actively pursuing your education, again, that shows that you are committed to your professional growth and there is something available for you. That's a great question, and I'm glad that was asked, and I wanted to make sure that that was answered. You do not have to have degree in hand.
And one other question, which is kind of related to a question that we asked earlier, Chaka, but maybe digs a little deeper, is how or what does the typical interview selection process look like? I know that's a huge question. I get it. It's broad. I get it.
It is broad. So just a little insight how it goes. A manager needs someone. They fill out a request, the requisition, it goes out into the universe. You see it, you apply, it gets assigned to a TA, a talent acquisition. That talent acquisition says, hey, you wanted someone, we got someone, and they'll go through the process, they'll review it, they'll respond back. Now we've kind of kept up with the times and technology, so a lot of things are all technology. It's emails back and forth. Before, give you an example, when I was in operations, I'd pick up the phone and say, you want it, I got it. Come on down, come see me, let's talk about it. Let's do a walkthrough. Now it's a lot of emails back and forth. And so that is a process for that. And then depending on the level, if you're looking for executive leadership positions, there can be several interview processes. Like you would have to interview with the HRD. If it's a functional supporting position, you may have to interview with the finance director, the president of the line of business. And if it is into a specific account, sometimes with the client, interview to make sure that the client is comfortable with you being at the location. So again, another one of those questions where it's like a snowflake. It depends on the line of business, to the level of entry that you're looking for. And 3, just kind of the client also can play a role in that.
That's perfectly understandable for sure. And then on those same lines from the previous question, are there any intern positions available for? And now this person's saying for alumni, but I think the intern question is a good one. And
it definitely is.
Yeah, and then as far as the alumni goes, well, of course they can apply, but for those who are seeking internship, being this is part of this question, is there any type of internship program at Aramark?
There is, we have a great one actually. It's called A2L and S2L. So it's accelerated leadership and senior leadership. And depending on what year you are in your education, we do interns. They are paid internships. If it is during breaks, what we do is try to find positions. One, if you interview and wherever you go to school is not your home, and let's say your home is in California and we have something in California that you'd like to intern, the ability is there. Of course, you would have to provide your own room and board. So if your family is there, but if you want to, stay home and work in California, that opportunity is there. And you can intern throughout your years. And then at the end of your year, when you graduate, you go into an S2L program, and it's that senior leadership. And what you do is you shadow a location for a year as an assistant manager. And then at the end of that year, you are now embedded in a part of that management at that location, or if something else comes available, you can filter into that location because you're already trained for that year and ready to go.
And I know we're coming down to like 45 minutes here, so we're gonna need to let Shaka go at one point here, but we appreciate you being here. I'm gonna ask one more question here, and I'm gonna just kind of one portion of the question, which is they're asking what type of positions does Aramark offer in financial and accounting department?
We have a number of them, and that is probably where we have the most probably flex or hybrid positions, because again, our individual pockets and locations can be so small. We have accounting where an accountant rolls up all of their financial information. So there are pockets of financial advisors that collect that information and that data from what they do day to day, and then roll that financial information up on a broader scale so we can see the line of business, how we are doing from revenue in sales and profit. So there are a lot of financial departments for that. And then in terms of executive leadership positions, again, every line of business requires a financial director and a vice president or president of finance for those different lines of business. So there are a number of them out there.
Trying to get to the mute button there. Finally got it. Well, Shaka, it's been an amazing, amazing presentation. We're so informed now about Aramark, and we just appreciate you so much for being here. Again, for doing it so last minute. I mean, that's just amazing. We're so happy you're here today, and I'm sure everybody here, I've seen nothing but positive comments here in the chat and all that. So thank you again. So if you want to connect with Aramark and other organizations that are actively hiring for full-time positions and internships, please log into Handshake through your student portal. We recommend checking Handshake and UAGC Connect, as well as UAGC LinkedIn group, by the way, and your emails, because we do send out emails regularly regarding these events for more career services events coming up. And speaking of events, our fall 2023 virtual career fair will occur in Handshake on October the 18th from 1 p.m. Pacific time. Many outstanding employers will be attending, and this is a great opportunity to network and meet employers from across the United States. We are pleased to announce that Aramark will be attending our fall virtual career fair. Yay! Chuck will be there. We would love to have you, Shaka, if you can attend. Any other people of your staff will be thrilled to have you. We're just so happy to have you here today. So regarding this Aramark information session, in a few days, you'll receive a follow-up email with a link to this recording and information about Aramark careers. If you have any questions for the career services team on your resume, cover letter, or job search, please email careerservices@uagc.edu or log it into Handshake through your student portal to explore more resources. Many thanks again to Shaka from Aramark for joining us today, and many thanks to you, our students and graduates, for attending UAGC. Thank you for attending this event today, and we look forward to seeing you at more career services hosted events. Everyone have a great day. Thanks again.
All the best, fellow alumni.
Thanks, Chuck. It was awesome.
Bye-bye.